Long time in the making. We are here joined for our first real interview of summer 2025. Mr. Mason Briggs, former Long Beach State Libero, All-American, and current, Libero for Team USA. Currently just got back from the VNL in all over the world and about to go to the Philippines, hopefully, for the World Championships. Mason, thanks for joining me, man.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Glad to
We're
make
gonna
it.
jump, yeah, of course. We're gonna jump right into it. Obviously, Long Beach State won the national championship in 2025 after you've departed, but you are still alumni. What was it like to see Moni Nikolov, Alan Knipe win that national championship this year?
Amazing. Of course. Stoked that Long Beach won. Of course, you should always uh wish that your team's gonna win. It's also really nice watching the other teams lose, but overall, watching them compete, it's really cool, especially being away from it. Still being able to watch these teams compete, some teams that haven't been in the mix for a little while that people think should be, and it was cool. So it was cool to watch the entire thing, but obviously Long Beach winning was amazing. Uh, Big fans of all of those guys, playing with some of them and being a part of maybe even their recruiting journey or whatever it may be, or not being a part of it, just having that Long Beach connection and brotherhood, regardless of if we don't even know each other. So it was awesome to see them win. And of course, the staff was with them for a while, a very long time, including my time that my brother was there. So that was amazing. And a bummer that obviously it was right after, but still super cool and super excited for them.
Yeah. And then you got Moni Nikolov, of course, but one and done. It was exciting to see him play on the court and wear the gold and black. But well, we didn't get to Team USA didn't face Bulgaria in the VNL this year, but what was it like watching him play as a member of the 49ers?
It was awesome. So I got to play with his brother, Alex
Yeah.
Nikolov, and one of the things he would say all the time is, "Guys, my brother's better than me." And I'm not going to weigh in on that, but it was super fun to play with Alex, and I'm sure it was the same to play with Moni and what he did for volleyball here in America, for volleyball at Long Beach was pretty freaking awesome. And was able to make it back actually for their last match in the pyramid. So talked to him briefly, more so him telling me that Bulgaria is gonna dominate in VNL. But it was awesome. Cool to watch him compete and watch everyone compete with him. Obviously, having a new setter, a freshman, and kind of being able to gel. I wasn't a part of it. I don't know exactly how everything went down. I'm not going to speak for any of that, but watching it and obviously watching them win was pretty awesome and pretty spectacular. So it'll be cool to face him sometime on the world stage, but it's cool that he was able to at least get one for Long Beach.
Yeah. Well, while Long Beach was winning the national championship, you were playing overseas in France for your first international season. What was that like?
What was that like? That is way too broad of a question, but it was amazing. My dream and my goal has always been to play professionally. The fact that I even got to play in general, but in France was amazing. Definitely a dream come true and a goal come true, if you want to call it that. But yeah, very loaded question. Let's see if I could give you a couple little points. The season runs from about September to May. Got there in late August after USA that summer, and starting there, I guess that was just insane. I will never forget the feeling of leaving, and I even getting the chills right now thinking about it, just saying bye. Um, I don't know if it'll ever get easier, but it was also crazy that it was just like definitely a transition of phases of life from this college world, the life and the friends and everything that I've built here in Long Beach and even just in SoCal my entire life. And going and moving away. But I knew it's what I wanted to do, and it was crazy when I got there. Just like everything, you don't really know what to expect. Although I tried to do my due diligence of talking to pros and uh, foreigners and different people of what it was like. But I guess that's kind of the start of it. Soon got acclimated a little more. Feels like home a little bit more, or what can be home. Um, and obviously there's the language barrier. I shared stories like, I'm in the grocery store for an hour because I'm Google translating everything and I want to make sure I have the right thing. Soon it turns into habit and just what to grab. But I wanted to kind of make sure that I was finding the right things. And uh, that that's one thing that I share is an hour in the store just looking at a translator, like picture of
How's
every
the French? How's the French?
branch is uh it's not great. I bought lifetime Babbel though, so we'll see. I'm gonna get started soon. That's what I keep saying. I'm taking a little French break right now, enjoying being home. I've hopped on every now and then, but yeah, it is a goal to start learning and learning more. I would love to be able to communicate with the people there. I think that's the biggest thing. Obviously, learning another language would be amazing, but the reason behind it, being able to connect even more with my coach or with my teammates or our president, little things like that would be uh, so cool. Obviously, it's tough to just learn and pick up a language, but yeah, I look to do that a little bit more. But along with that, season was great. We exceeded expectations. Nice is where I played, Nice volleyball, and historically they haven't been one of the best or even at all in the top, and kind of like fighting to stay in the league. And we exceeded expectations. We made playoffs. Not only did we make playoffs, we finished fifth. We were one game away from finishing fourth, which I believe would have been the best ever for the club, and we tied that, which was pretty cool. First time in playoffs, I think, in more than 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. So that was pretty awesome to be a part of that, be a part of a good run with the team. We lost first round of playoffs eventually to the team that actually won. So that's always kind of a bummer, but good feeling as well as the team that beat us, they won. But it was a great season overall, really, really good competition playing in France. And I don't know if you have any questions about that. Not you, but
Yeah.
one, let me know and would love to expand on it more. We could probably have a lot of conversations about that, but hopefully that's a decent enough broad overview.
Yeah, well, I mean, to move on to that, you have a welcome to the league moment from your time in France that you remember distinctly.
Yeah, so we actually played Irvin Ingapeth um, at home, at our home. And our gym is very small. It was sold out though, and obviously was looking forward to that. And I actually, not many people know this, I got injured before the match during warm up. And so I ended up actually, I don't even remember, maybe tearing a ligament in my ankle or something. That's funny. I don't even remember what it was. But I sprained my ankle and did something worse as well. But we sprayed that thing and we taped it up. And my coach said, okay, just try. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Just try. All right, I'll just try. And so here I am, like, okay, yes, I'm playing against him and a good team, but also our coach used to coach at this club. And so he's like, all right, we better win. He's like, okay, just try. And so that to me was pretty cool because I then went on to have a pretty good game. And I had this one like one arm scoop against him, which was pretty sick. So that was awesome. And luckily my reception was actually pretty good that game. Ended up getting MVP that game too, which was super surprising, super cool. And I was injured while doing it. So I'd say that was maybe not like a welcome to the league moment, but a pretty cool thought and feeling of like, all right, I can do this and there's more to be done on top of that, which was pretty fun.
Yeah. Well, you go from playing Cooper Robinson in the national championship to playing against Irvin Ingapeth in, France. So obviously that adjustment period from going to the NCAA to pro is something crazy. So what was that like trying to switch over? Obviously you're seeing a little bit different than what us in America are seeing. So what is that like?
Yeah, there's so many questions within that question, and I'll try and touch on each of it. But it's a different style of volleyball that these countries are playing, so you got to adapt to that. For example, serving and on my end receiving. So there's a lot more variety. There's they can go from a jump spin to a jump float with the same toss, or they can rip a server, they can direct it wherever they want. Little things like that, and just the cleanliness of the game compared to the NCAA. We have great players here. The league is great. The competition is great. And I think it's just those little things that add up. Um, so that's one thing. I've been around international volleyball for a little bit now, being able to travel with Team USA for the past couple of years, whether that's Pan Am tournaments, NORCECA tournaments, VNL week one, the past 2 years before this, and then even World Championships in 2022. But I haven't been able to actually get on the court as much, still being a younger guy, especially in that quad. But being around it, I feel like still helped me prep for this next step and seeing this level of volleyball, knowing the expectations. And that was something that definitely helped. But I would say you have to just dive into it. You got to go for it is the biggest thing, right? You can be around it, you can have played in it, you can have played in even, VNLs, but when it comes back to your league and your season, you got to just dive right back in and you got to go. It is really interesting. People know this and they hear this, but it really is a job and it is your work, and you're expected to obviously show up, but you're expected to play well and especially at some clubs, win them championships. So that's a big difference as well.
Well, to move on to the VNL, obviously, we
Yeah.
just got done with the prelims. Team USA was unable to make it to the playoffs, just one game off. But how does it go from you graduate college playing against Cooper Robinson, Andrew Rowan in the national championship, and now they're your teammates on the floor in some of the biggest games. What was that like
The
playing with
biggest
guys?
would be Merrick. We've been playing against each other for years, and now I'm playing pro with him. Um, but we've been good friends because of USA for years now. But yeah, the other guys, and just I know as an example, right? It's been great in terms of there's no like rivalry or we don't care. I mean, I'm the one that lost, so maybe they would care if they didn't win. Obviously I care, but it is what it is. Got that next ball mentality, I guess. But uh we joke about it, or I like to joke about it. But it's great. I think it's cool playing with these guys that are either my same age or even a little bit younger, knowing that we're all working towards the same thing, and or at least something similar. And it's really fun grinding it out with obviously the older guys and learning from them and their experience, but then knowing that we are some of these younger guys and we're pushing and we're all grinding together.
Yeah. A younger guy going up against some pretty big organizations in Argentina, Cuba, Iran, and Japan. Specifically, the game against Iran, you guys were down 2-0 and reverse swept a pretty massive game in week one. What was the mindset when down 2-0? What was being said in the huddle going in? Well, what's Karch telling you guys that's able to push you guys to a 5-set win?
It's a good question. So that was week one. That was a little bit ago now at this
Yeah.
point. The biggest thing that I remember, I think it was Jordan Ewer and a couple of us just saying the same thing, but that stuck with me is like, we just we gotta go. Like, we can keep talking, we can break things down, but we just gotta go. We just gotta play. It was interesting too in the moment because we didn't necessarily know that they were a top team or a playoff contention team. I think three out of those four teams that you just said that I've played against are now in the VNL finals, which is pretty cool. But I think it was also just a feeling of confidence. We know that we're a little younger, that we're like maybe not as experienced. We weren't going to fall back on that or use that as an excuse, but we knew that we would be making progress up. And that was our goal, right? Is better every point, better every set, better every match. So we knew we dropped two, but we could have done a little bit better, that we had more. And it was kind of just a steady grind to win the fifth, to win in five. But that fifth set, we've actually alluded to it a couple times now this summer. We had to side out, I believe it was 10 or 11 times in a row because they also weren't letting up. So it was a true battle back and forth. 10 side outs in a row. I don't know how many of you actually know volleyball, but that's pretty tough in
Yeah.
a set
Yeah.
with a very low margin of error. Um, so that was pretty awesome. And that's what it's going to take. And that's what it did take in a couple other matches. And it was really cool to be tested that early. I know we had a lot of shifting around and different groups here and there, but to show that this group that's younger, maybe doesn't have as much experience, can accomplish something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, Cuba and Japan, Argentina as well are some pretty offensive teams because Argentina, their defense is amazing, but Cuba and Japan have some pretty big hitters. And going, being in that back row, playing defense against those guys, what was, how do you adjust to that level of play and just, being
Yeah.
called upon to be that defensive anchor?
It's a good question. I'll get to that, but also what people sometimes don't realize, or even you can't even tell sometimes, is those are some pretty crazy serving teams as well. Defense is one thing, but serve and pass, people always say the name of the game, but, and I'll just give this to anyone, not just liberos or whatever, passing and passers in general do a pretty good job of making it look not easy every time, but doable.
Right.
Uh, those are some teams that rip Japan, Argentina, Cuba, especially. All these teams. I mean, just men's volleyball in general. That's where the game is at right now. And some you're asking what people talk about in huddles. Sometimes it's all right. let's let's go. Let's crank it up. Um, but anyways, back to that. It's fun. uh,
Yeah.
definitely maybe a little stressful or whatever word you want to use to kind of put to it, but it's fun overall. It makes it that much better of a competition, and in reality that's my job, so it makes it a good time out there, and knowing that you're just gonna grind it out with your teammates, not just the defensive side like I said, but the serve receive side, that you got to basically just survive together, is a cool feeling that the whole team is on board for that. And a team like Japan or even Argentina that's going to rip balls, but also throw in a lot of junk here and there. Whereas we know Cuba is banging balls and probably ripping every single time with very little tips and rolls. But I think, not to jump, I don't know if you have this as a question, but not to jump the gun, against Japan, they were nearly perfect.
Yeah.
Tips and rolls, and then they hit a ball with power. So it's tough when you also have a team that's just throwing everything at you. But overall, it makes it fun.
Yeah. Well, you talk about going to battle. Obviously, you guys have been practicing for a couple months. You're in a libero room with guys like Eric Shoji, Kyle D'Agostino. What is it like competing with them, being teammates with them? What are you learning from them? Just, as teammates in and out of the Team USA gym. What is that like?
It's great. I mean, obviously, Eric himself. So he's been the libero for 3 years now. Not 3 years, three quads. Um, so if you're not saying that you're learning from him, then you're probably pretty dumb and need to pay attention. But it's been great. I mean, even Kyle, he's an older guy as well that has a lot of experience. And even off court stuff, like I was saying earlier, like how's pro, how was this place? Kyle played in Nice as well. So learning these things and taking everything you can from them to me is the best thing that you can do. But it's fun. We have a good time. This is kind of stupid, but we all wore black on accident yesterday and we all loved it. I think we're all just like goofballs in our own way. And
You
we
guys
like
are all on the same wavelength now.
yeah,
Spent
exactly.
enough
We're all on the
time.
same wavelength, but we like to have a good time. It's fun. It's fun on the trips too, and we obviously support each other and keep the team rolling and learn from, for example, like I said, Eric that has been there for a while and has established things on the team, just like a college team would be, kind of passing down a little bit of culture and experience.
Yeah. Well, you talk about learning, and as an outside perspective, stop me if I'm wrong, but you could see that we were trying to gain experience, a different roster every match, being able to give these guys an experience. But obviously, you start week one in Brazil, and then you end week three in Japan with the playoffs in mind. Was there a shift in mindset at all once that week three came, or was it always we're gonna give ourselves the best opportunity to go out there and see what we can do as a team? And obviously it's the first VNL quad since the Olympics. We're another 3 years away from LA Olympics in 2028. What was that? Was there a shift in mindset at all, or was it always let's go out
As a
there and
team,
show what we
as a
can do?
team.
Yeah, as a team.
No, I wouldn't say. I think from the start, so obviously everyone knows, and you're saying we were mixing up lineups, and yes, that's the case, but it was never with an intent to lose or to not be
No,
competitive, obviously.
right.
Right. So with that, the goal was also to learn to mix people up, to get experience for some guys, a lot of guys, and putting people in those roles and in those positions. And I mean, in reality, it's also a tryout in some sense. So that was definitely part of it as well. I don't think there was a mindset shift, to be honest, going into week three of like, oh, guys, we can do this if we do this.
Yeah.
Uh, it was, it's cool. And there's some matches that, maybe you should win or you can take off. But in reality, I think the goal is always to win. It's always to play our best, but it's also to learn and take something from it and be in those tough situations and those tough experiences. We're in a very interesting situation. Not only are we in the first year of the quad, but we're also automatically qualified for the Olympics. So it's not something to fall back on and think like, okay, we're fine. But essentially, there's no need to panic, especially I don't know, it was like week one. I think the women's team was playing, and it's like, oh my gosh, like comments like USA, we're screwed, like whatever. No, like give them a break. They made finals. They were great. It's
Yeah.
first year of the quad. It all depends on what your goal and your plan is, but they were pretty clear with us, in my opinion, that uh their goal was also to win, but also to gain experience, give us opportunities to learn and grow with all of that as well.
Now, would you say that's your message to all the Team USA fans out there? Like, don't panic. We're okay. We're still qualified. Just have fun watching us play.
Yeah, I mean, always have fun watching us play. I think the biggest thing is just keep watching. The I have a lot of messages to the fans, but in terms of this conversation right here, we're tweaking it a little bit more of like the growth of it all. Yeah, keep watching us, keep supporting us. I think there was a lot more hype and knowledge around VNL itself and just national team maybe than there has been in the past. Probably props to you and a few others, but major props to you and people that are actually talking about it, actually covering it, and also Volleyball World signing whatever contract deal they did with Big Ten and I think CBS. I don't know if that ever
Yeah.
actually happened. I
It was
was
on the women's
thanks. I
side. It
wasn't
wasn't, yeah,
watching.
you weren't watching.
Yeah, so
Um,
okay, only on the women's side. Great. I won't
yeah.
touch on that then, but good to know. Uh, but it's great. I mean, it's cool that we're bringing volleyball and national team volleyball to more eyes. yeah, my message to the fans on that would be yes, stay patient. But I don't think anyone's panicking anymore. You watch some good volleyball, and
Right.
I think even Eric talked about it the other day. I think I saw a video briefly of like the men's side in particular in the entire world. Like people don't realize, okay, yes, there's competition here in the States, but a lot of these other countries, volleyball is their sport or one of their top sports, and they are really good. There's there are so many teams that could qualify for VNL finals, or maybe some that didn't, that should deserve it. And I think that's what Eric said was probably 6 teams that could have contended for a medal last Olympics, which is a lot. You know, you can even relate that to the NCAA is every year you look at the teams like, all right, well, these are the 4 teams, or these are the 3 teams or 2 teams that could make it or that you think are going to make it. But if you're really looking at the world stage, there's a lot of teams that could do it. And it's really cool because they could all do it in their own fashion, in their own way. Like we've even been talking about Cuba, they just rip the ball. You know, if they're on, that's tough to stop. Japan,
Yeah.
if they play like they did against us, that's tough to stop. So it's cool. It's cool. Stay patient, stay involved, stay watching,
Yeah.
pick some
And we
people, keep in touch with them, whatever.
we talk about coverage. I was watching SportsCenter the other day. I'm like, man, I love baseball, but all of these top five plays are baseball plays. Why? How do we get volleyball onto these, Sports Center top fives? Because you gotta say, there are some crazy moments in these games that
Yeah.
I feel like if you just put it out on Sports Center, you would get so much engagement, so much new eyes on this sport that people don't even realize how exciting
Yeah.
volleyball can be, especially at this VNL level, where like college is college, you've got service errors, but the level of play in the VNL is something way different. So, how do we get VNL specifically on that national stage?
It's a good question. Probably a little interview or video for another time to go fully into it. But yeah, we got to keep getting past the roadblocks, whatever those may be. Have more people like you or continuing to support people like you that are pushing the sport and pushing the athletes as well. I mean, you see it happen in women's basketball, for example, and Caitlin Clark, that a player alone can bring up
Yeah.
sales or viewership or whatever. And Moni Nikolov doing a little bit of that here for Long Beach and in the NCAA. And I think it's tough because people don't relate to it as much. We don't have a pro league. I think people are starting to relate to it even more because of what they've done on the women's side, which is amazing. And hopefully we can kind of hop on that and they'll throw us a bone. But there's a lot that we can keep pushing to do and continuing to just grow the sport in general, I think is a huge thing. And sometimes that has to be from the ground up, not up to the ground, or however you would say that. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, with that, I'm always looking for ways to help grow the game and to build it from the ground up. I know I've done some things in college, whether that was, merch, trading cards, trying to do social media stuff, hopping on interviews like this, and hopefully continue to do some more things very soon, actually.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a U.S. men's league. What would you say if you heard that there was one being made? Like just having men's volleyball, a pro men's volleyball where, all the major stars, Lucarelli, Inga Peth, Micah Christensen, obviously, in the States, in North America, what would you say to that? What would that be like for you?
What would that be like? Or
What would
how
you, yeah, how would you receive that? What would the reception for you be for that, the idea of a North American Pro League volleyball?
I would love that.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
uh, it's not like a written down, like I'm gonna make this happen goal,
No.
but that would be a goal of mine to continue to push how I can on my end to make that happen. I think to be honest, I think it could happen. I think we just need to continue to push the volleyball world as well as the sports world, and then also come to a way of actually making it possible. Again, that could be a little interview for another time, but even if that means a 6 team pro league in just California, or if that means, more of a West Coast, or if that means the entire country. The only reason I say that is obviously with a pro team, you have budget, travel, all of that. If you could cut a lot of that out, um, then I mean we're talking about America, which is huge. Even France is a big country, but these other countries, they have leagues and they bus everywhere, right? It's not like you have to fly from the West Coast to the East Coast. I think there's ways to scale it down a little bit and then grow from there, rather than
Mhm.
thinking, oh my gosh, American sports, it has to be that we have 50,000 people in the seats every single game and we have to have, a full blown everything. Some of these pro leagues in other countries, you have maybe 1,000 people at a game, and like we're doing more than that in the
Mhm.
NCAA alone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's more on that, but even if we did something like that, I think people just have to continue to remember that it doesn't have to be 50,000 people. I mean, even
Yeah.
10,000 people at a game or 5,000 people at a game is amazing.
Yeah.
And there's other ways to continue to push that. And I think it's cool too, because the support you get from those, let's say that smaller amount of people, is intensified because they love it. And everyone that watches volleyball and gets hooked on it really gets hooked on it, in my opinion. Whether that's, fans that were brought in by, you know, a relative that's playing, or even our athletic trainers in the past have become like big volleyball fans, like stuff like that, where people that are in it and that are a part of it, I think they love it. And there's a lot of ways that we could continue to grow it. And it doesn't have to be a battle between men's and women's or men's volleyball and another sport, but more so, how can we fit it in? Although in the end, it might be a little bit of a battle. And like you're saying, the viewership and the TV time and all of that is always a battle and owned by certain people. But I think there's ways, and it would be pretty freaking cool. I don't know if you're getting Lucarelli and Christensen, but we'll see. Maybe.
Yeah. If you build it, they will come, right? I mean, you look at all the Polish fans that came to Chicago. I mean, the fans are here. They
Yep.
are here.
Yep.
We need to bring something to it.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, that'll
speaking
be
of,
another interview. We'll put together a whole plan. We
oh
just
yeah,
need
oh
6
yeah.
people that are willing to front 6 teams, and it'll explode from there. It'll be amazing, and we'll even do some other things that you know, we don't want to give away our secrets, but I have a couple
No.
ideas.
Oh, you're full of ideas. I mean, if anybody's watching or listening and have been following Mason, he's got some things in up his sleeves. A little mastermind, volleyball mastermind over here. Do you have any, sneak peeks, little tidbits that you want to give the masses, or
Oh, I don't like giving sneak peeks, but
no sneak
anyone that's
peeks?
around me and anyone that knows me, yes, they know I've got ideas always rolling. Yeah, I've done little business things here and there. Had a couple ideas, and if I were to give any sneak peek, I've landed an idea. I think all of you and more will love it. I think it will change the game. I don't know what game. You'll have to figure that out soon. But I think it'll be a game changer. And I think for me, it really just comes from passion and wanting to help and wanting to do everything that we just talked about. And exactly what I was talking about earlier, of something that's ground up, but also consistent and more than just ground up. No, I'm not starting a volleyball league. That would be cool, but no. Uh, no,
He's got the money for it. No,
yeah,
no.
that's for sure. No, volleyball also isn't the NBA in terms of
Right.
money. No, I have something that I'm working on with a couple people and hope to bring in even more people and really just make it a community thing. Yes, it'll be my thing and something that I'm working on and putting together, but it's supposed to be for everyone and for the community. And I'm really excited. What drives me every day working on it is knowing, not even just thinking, but knowing that it can change the game and even people's lives. And that's really exciting to me. And I love working on these little projects that hopefully aren't so little very soon.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to hear what you've got. But with that, I think we're going to move into our rapid questions.
Oh, shoot.
Obviously, you weren't in Chicago while I was in Chicago, so we weren't able to meet face to face. So you were unable to answer all of my fun questions that I got to ask Team USA. But
Gotcha.
now we get to have you answer those questions. So Mason, are you ready?
I think so. I don't remember. I remember like maybe one of them. So I'll try and be, would you have a time limit?
No, no, no time limit.
I'll try and be as rapid as possible.
Okay. Who's
Okay.
winning the 2026 national championship?
Long Beach.
Okay. Who's got the best facial hair on the team?
On the USA
On
team,
the team, yeah, on Team USA, yeah.
facial hair. That's Kyle Hobus.
Yeah. And then start, bench, cut, beach, grass, indoor.
Okay. Start indoor because I play it. uh, well, man, sorry to all the grass people, but it's just, I gotta cut grass and then bench beach. Although I love them all. I really do.
Yeah.
Start them all if
And
I.
then, right? What's been your favorite memory so far as a part of Team USA, especially in this quad?
Ooh, that's a good question. This quad, I would say overall, just playing against Japan in Japan, although we didn't win, it was a good match, a really good fight, playing against a really good team, a top five in the world team in their home country against I don't even know how many people, but a sold out crowd was amazing. And being able to battle through that and prove a little bit of what I've got has been pretty fun. And just battling with the guys is unreal. Like I said, being able to bring it into that huddle every time and like share the energy that we have is pretty special. And to do it there in a VNL against a top five team was really fun.
Yeah. And then this is a new question that I didn't get to ask, but if you weren't playing volleyball professionally, what would you be doing? Or what sport would you be playing?
Ooh. Okay, I'll answer that as a two part. So let's see. If I, regardless of the sport, probably something to do with business. I was a business finance major, but like I said, I love doing business. I love doing little projects, ideas. So I'd probably roll with that. Um, if it was
You'd be
another
the Kurt
sport,
Nurster of never mind.
uh,
Um yeah, and then yeah, if you weren't playing volleyball, what sport would you be playing?
actually, I joke that volleyball is my third sport. Spike ball for sure.
Oh, professional
I know
spike ball player.
it's not an up there sport. I'd have to push to grow it and all that, like volleyball. But yeah, spike ball is my number one sport. If we're talking like a real sport, maybe if I started training long enough ago, probably like golf or something. That'd be pretty cool. Pickleball,
That's
maybe.
solid.
Yeah.
Pickleball's starting to get bigger. I would say is I wouldn't say bigger than volleyball, but the audience
Yeah.
is definitely growing.
Yep. Yep.
So
And the audience is every single age, which is pretty cool because it's, that's the target that people can play. Yeah. If I had to answer genuinely, I would, and like realistically, like you can't play volleyball anymore, and I had to pick up another sport. Maybe I'd put all my marbles into pickleball. That'd be pretty fun.
yeah, yeah. Well, Mason, I think that'll do it for our first interview. I feel like we've got a lot more to talk about, but with that, we will end it there. Mason, thank you so much, and thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.